Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the Seven Kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra-Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra-Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra-Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra-Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, when you decide that you're going to limit one faction of society's liberty, it really limits everyone's liberty. When you because it's just going to get to the point where it actually applies to you as well, and when things start to apply to you, a lot of people do not like it. And this is pretty much where the gay agenda, the radical gay agenda, is going. They want people to not be able to deny them anything, no matter what their religious beliefs are. And what's going to end up happening is that laws are going to be created that equally apply to them when they do not agree with somebody. I'll wait for the day when when a person walks into a gay-owned shop and wants something that is pretty much, very straight supporting and anti-gay, and they will not be able to deny them because they work so hard to deny somebody else their right to associate with whom they wanted to associate with. And, then we're going to see more protests and possibly riots. Not to be disparaging, but I think riots of glitter is a lot better than riots of rocks and bottles. Hello, my fellow Americans and liberty lovers across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire. And, of course, a bunkerized studio is probably going to be needed in the near future as, if people want to continue rioting, at least I'll be able to continue to broadcast the truth and liberty to you. Yeah, the state is New Hampshire. The state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And as we move right along here on this Monday, April the 27th in the year of our Lord 2015 evening, we continue with the voice of reason, the voice of logic, me. Somebody said that to me over the weekend. Man, you're the voice of logic. And you know what? I like that. I am the voice of logic. And it's only logical for people to want to have things their own way. But you have to remember that logically speaking, it's only going to end up harming you in the long run. It may not take that long. And I give the example of the radical gay agenda. Well, as for instance, we know about the GoFundMe for Sweet Cakes by Melissa on GoFundMe was canceled. If you didn't know that, then you've been hiding under a rock all weekend. But GoFundMe cancels the fundraising campaign. Now they've already the Melissa's Sweet Cakes by Melissa was the company that refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding, lesbians actually, and they filed a complaint, a legal complaint, and the state fined them, $135,000. Well, there was a GoFundMe campaign that was started, and it raised today to $105,000. But then the radical gay left, complained to GoFundMe that this was unfair and that it was wrong. And GoFundMe bent into the radical liberal leftist agenda and decided it'd be easier to cancel and stop them from raising money. Now, you know what? It's not going to stop Sweet Cakes by Melissa from raising money. I guess what they really didn't want, it was like Memories Pizza raising nearly $1 million in order to help them get back on their feet and back in business. And they were afraid the same thing would happen with Melissa fundraising campaign. But I think what this is only going to do is probably help her to eclipse that $1 million mark. And she's going to be able to expand her business way beyond. But she's going to, of course, they're going to attack her again. The radical left is going to try to attack her again. And they're only going to succeed into limiting their own freedom. Because right now, hey, you're not allowed to refuse a gay. Anything. You're not allowed. That is their thought process. We don't care, so they say, what beliefs you have. Because, and surprisingly so, you have some people on the right who think, well, if you're in business, you have to serve everybody. No, I do not. I have the right to associate with and do business with whom I choose to associate and do business with. And I hear a lot, especially people on the left, and they're kind of shocked, coming from me. Well, Rod, what about, civil rights and you're not being able to eat? No, it's not the same. I don't know where this... Trust me, the notion that gay rights is the equivalent of black civil rights or minority civil rights did not come from minorities. It came from the white, radical, liberal left. They're the ones that tried to make the comparison because they knew that if they made that comparison, well, then the rest of the country in general would not be able to resist their requirement of said so-called equality. But what they were asking for was super rights over people who do not agree with them and people who are not like them. All blacks asked for and minorities asked for was just to be treated equally. They didn't ask for special treatment. They didn't go into a bakery and say, okay, we want you to make a Black Panther cake here. And they didn't go into a KKK owned bakery and say, make a Black Panther cake. That's not what blacks were doing. That wasn't even a part of their thought process. But here, you have black, if they wanted a Black Panther cake, they went into a black owned bakery. But here, the radical liberal left and gay agenda folks, well, they seek out people who do not agree with them. They're not interested in going to another gay-owned bakery and spending their money there, which they should. They should go to somebody like that. There's a here in New England, there's something called the Pink Pages. It's basically the book. Most of the pages in the book are pink, actually, and it's kind of like the Yellow Pages. Remember the Yellow Pages phone book? Well, this is called the Pink Pages, and it lists in its pages gay-owned and gay-friendly businesses. So I'm sure there's probably a directory similar in many communities where there's a sizable or significant gay population. So they could go to some sort of publication online or offline like this and determine, it's not very hard to determine who's going to be on their side, if you will. And they can go and spend their money and support them. It's called free market. You support those who you want to support. You don't try and go and destroy somebody else who you don't agree with. That's all this is. And it doesn't cover other things. And we've talked about this before. Like, what happens if now they get their way and courts decide on their side? Well, no, you can't discriminate against gays. Well, it's going to happen.